Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which brings you the big G, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and the little g, all the good things that people do to put that gospel of life into action. Hey gang, we have quite a show for you today. As a matter of fact, we are at Center Point Church in Naples. And my good friend, Pastor Jim Knight, graciously loaned the church to us so that we could have a seminar, a summit for life in Naples, Florida. And we've invited folks from all over the country to come and make presentations today about what they're doing in their own special ministry. Along with that, we have numerous people who have just come to be informed, to find out what's going on. What can they do to put the gospel of life into action? And so throughout the afternoon, numerous speakers, you'll be introduced to some very famous people and some people who, well, they will become famous after this afternoon. And what I want you to do is to enjoy the presentations today, and then to keep in mind that when you listen to them, they're giving you ideas of what you can do too to make the gospel of life alive in your parish. And maybe next year, we expect it to be a yearly event, you will be on too.
All right, so we're going to enter into our fire hose section. But so to kick things off, what better than our local celebrity, Father Michael Orsi, host of Action for Life TV. Give us a couple of minutes about you, about what you're working on, and we'll take it from there.
Well, thank you, Royce. I think the best thing I could do right now is to tell you how I met Royce and how I just knew that he was the right one to lead the pro-life movement. He came to law school and he visited me in my office. And he had all these great ideas. I'm saying to myself, gee, is this kid for real? But I had a pastor once. His name was Monsignor Pack. Monsignor Pack said to me, never stifle initiative. I'm telling that to all of you. Never stifle initiative. So I said, all right, let me take a chance on the kid. He wanted to, I think it was the first Summit for Life we ever had in Washington. And I said, all right, Robin Hood, I call him Robin Hood. All right, Robin Hood, go ahead, go do it. And I wasn't sure he could pull it off. But he astounded me as to what he was able to do. And they'd never said no to him ever again.
Except, Father, that's not true. We tried to get Father out on the airboats with the alligators, and it was an astounding hard no.
But I heard the alligators like Italian food. So I recognized, his great talents and great ability and great zeal for the pro-life movement. And we all have to encourage the young people to take the lead. They are the future. And guess what? They're also the best advertisement they have, because Royce has had 8 children in...
9.
9?
3 in heaven, 6 here.
In 11 years, and I got the privilege of performing the marriage. There is no better advertisement for pro-life than to have people involved with pro-life, young people, having children. I got a chance today. I met Gabriel and Augustine, and little Max is a new baby. That is inspiring. It's inspiring to see your children's children. That's what I have. Royce is the son I never had. You pass on the word. You pass on the word to your children and to your grandchildren. You tell them about the importance of having children. You tell them the importance of having children who have brothers and sisters. That's their support throughout their lives, brothers and sisters. There's not any such thing as the one perfect child. Well, Mrs. Orsi had him a number. But Royce was just telling me these two little guys, he says, I got to keep an eye on them. You know, they're slugging it out 1 minute, and the next minute they're best friends. And that's going to be their support for the rest of their lives. One of the most dangerous things in our world today is that people have no children. It's a real insult to Almighty God. Or have one child who has no living relatives that they know of. Maybe grandparents, but grandparents don't live forever. Maybe a few aunts and uncles, maybe. And it leaves them alone in this world. And that's when the almighty state steps in. Single mothers, let us raise your children for you. You go to work, and we'll program the kids the way we think they should be. That's the greatest insult to Almighty God. And it is the greatest danger to the human race. We are involved in not just a matter of forgetting about God. We are at war with God. I'm going to make one last suggestion. How many of you have ever heard of the encyclical Humanae Vitae? It's the most important encyclical ever written. And yet, it's ignored and sometimes even mocked. If you are very serious about the pro-life movement, and this is for Catholics and for non-Catholics, even for those who claim to be secularist, read that encyclical. It will show you the beautiful plan that God has for us. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Father. That was wonderful.
One last thing. I've been asked to thank Mr. Art Ramos, CEO of 91.5 Kingdom FM, for promoting this event for us at no charge. Believe me, it is much appreciated.
And this is why we have him on the radio. He's amazing. Thank you, Father.
I'm Eddie Perez. I run a pro-life ministry called Vans for Life. And I also run a pregnancy center in San Antonio, Texas. And one of the things that happened to us was we would have our building right next door to the abortion facilities. And when we did that, we had we went from seeing about 200 girls a year to about 1,200 girls a year. But then the abortion facilities would move, and then we're in a 3-year lease. So what do? I found that most pregnancy centers across the country are not located next to the abortion facilities. They're 5-10 miles away. And if we're gonna help the girls who need help, we need to be there right before they walk into an abortion facility so that they can walk into a pregnancy center that's going to be able to help them. So we ended up getting a van, and we parked in front of the abortion facilities. And in about 1.5 years, we saved over 800 babies from being aborted. One of the abortion facilities, we had taken away so much of their business that they had to close their doors permanently. So I thought, well, why don't we do this nationally? So I found a manufacturer who's able to do and convert up to 100 vans every year to be mobile pregnancy centers. And so we decided to start Vans for Life. We actually started, our first one was deployed to Daytona Beach, Florida, a few months ago, and yesterday they went out for the first time, and within 30 minutes they saved their first baby. Yeah. So it's very effective. They're about $145,000, but we have grants and I can help with fundraising and so forth. We have 6 vans that are ready to go next month, brand new. So the problem is we're having a hard time getting the word out. So if you or any pro-life organizations you're aware of might be interested in getting a van or hearing about it, just go to vansforlife.org, and my phone number and contact information is there as well.
Next up needs no introduction here in the Naples community. We are so blessed to get to know her, and I'm blessed to know her. Carolyn with Sunlight Home.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to see all these wonderful, familiar, and some new faces here today, and an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we all do in our pro-life ministries. I'm the president of the board of the Sunlight Home, and we are the long-term residential maternity and transitional housing program here in Naples. We are the only one in Collier County. So we have a pretty busy ministry. I've been with the Sunlight Home for 15 years. We've been here in Florida, in Naples, for 29 years. And we do not take any government funding. All of it is the support of all of you out there in the audience there, and all of the wonderful, generous people here in the Naples community. Our program consists of the maternity. When the girls come, they're in the maternity program, and it is a program. It's not just a shelter. The girls start with their GEDs if they haven't had their high school diplomas yet, and they work their way through the maternity program. Once they have their babies and they're viable, then they can move into transitional housing, and there they continue with their case plan. Includes counseling, education, driving lessons, getting a car, saving your money, taking the Dave Ramsey financial management course, and whatever else education they need or training to be able to start to have a career where they can take care of themselves and their little ones. So it's a very progressive program. It's rather strict, especially when we tell them they can't have their cell phones for 30 days. They want to leave immediately when we tell them that, because some of them have gotten so attached to them that it's their only access with the outside world. So we have to sort of debrief them and then reprogram them again to leave behind some of the things that cause them to actually be here. And some of them come from some pretty dark places, and we work very hard to teach them the love of Christ that flows from us, through us, and to them. And I always say this, probably some of you have heard it, but I still like saying it anyway. When we answer the door, we say, we have mustard seeds, and we're not afraid to use them. And I was reminded of, Galatians 6, where, Paul tells us that we should not grow tired of doing good, because at the appropriate time, we can reap the harvest if we don't quit. And we have sometimes, God gives us the opportunity to see how well our former residents have done in our programs. And we're just grateful to all of you and also to God to have this privilege to serve him in this very special way, defending the preborn children and their mothers. Thank you.
In today's world, with the lies and corruption inside mainstream media, pro-lifers, defenders of the preborn may feel silenced and shunned, but not at LifeSite News. Our promise to our readers to report the news from a truthful perspective, encouraging people to change the culture into one which stands for pro-life values and embraces the fullness of the truth. The overturning of Roe v. Wade gives us reason to celebrate and rejoice in the preservation of future lives that might otherwise have been lost. The United States continues to carry the pain that abortion inflicts on the pro-life culture at the state level, and our work to stand up for the sanctity of life has only just begun. As pro-lifers, we need to use the media as a tool to advance and spread the pro-life message. We should all be looking for ways to effectively reach and influence not just those who are considering abortion, but those who have bought into the lies about what abortion is, a woman's right, healthcare, a choice, and so on. Pope Benedict, during his pontificate, encouraged Christians to be digital witnesses to the Gospels by opening doors of truth and faith. LifeSite for the last 25 years has taken this approach to heart and recognizes that the way to change hearts and minds is to show the reality of abortion, to highlight stories that are sorrowful, beautiful, and at times both. With increasing censorship and weaponization of the woke culture, LifeSite continues to be attacked and silenced by big tech and social media giants for being witnesses to the truth. But we have all been down this road before, and we won't be silenced. With multiple strikes being deplatforming and the constant censorship that LifeSite faces and the pro-life community, particularly on how best, we've had challenges particularly on how best to navigate and find alternative ways to communicate the pro-life message, and oftentimes your voice. With the post-Roe generation full force and a culture shift of young and pro-life people emerging, we are seeking ways to help keep people engaged and motivated in the fight for life. So I'm excited to share with you today just some of the things the LifeSite has going. So we're going to be introducing two ambassador programs. The first program is going to be a social media ambassador program, and the second one is a community ambassador program. The first social media ambassadors program will be people will be responsible for sharing and promoting LifeSite content that will help increase awareness and bring people closer to the truth on issues like abortion. We also see this as an opportunity to leverage the power of social media to advance the pro-life and pro-family message by engaging the young and the growing pro-life movement. And then I think I'm running out of time, so I can save the other one. If you have questions about the ambassador program, I'd love to fill you in. I'll just end with one of my favorites, the Venerable Fulton Sheen. He once said, "We are not the creators of divine truth. We are only the trustees and the guardians." And each organization here, represented here today, plays a different role in this fight for life. No matter what your role you play, big or small, is our acknowledgement of the sanctity of human life. Thank you for allowing me to speak here today, and may God bless you.
As you can imagine, producing this wonderful program, Action for Life, it costs a great deal of money. We're going to need your help. So if you would like to donate to keep this good news program on the air, please go to your computer, your cell phone, actionforlife.net. Thought for the day. A lot of people think that the religion is only for the next world. Well, it's very much for this world too. It has an impact on our daily lives. Make sure that you take time to know the candidates who are running for office and then to vote for those candidates who are pro-life. Hey gang, I know a lot of you sometimes can't watch all of our episodes of Action for Life. However, we have a solution for that. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search for Action for Life Florida. And you can catch up on all the shows, and guess what? Extra added bonus, you get to hear my weekly homily. So, YouTube and you make a fine couple.
I am probably the senior pro-life activist in New York City, and that's saying a lot. I got started in 1979. I've been at it ever since, full-time since 1990. I'm particularly impressed with the young people here. I got started in my 20s, and I'll be 68 in 2 weeks. And believe me, you're starting your dedication to a cause which I hope lasts for your entire life. I reside in the abortion capital of America. We have more abortion clinics, more abortions, the highest rate of abortion, most pro-abortion groups based there, the least pro-life activists of any major city, which means #1 battleground and crisis point. We need the national pro-life groups to pay more attention to us, not just with fundraising letters, but boots on the ground. In 2008, I bought a house just to house pro-lifers because I couldn't get enough people to volunteer to put people up. I bring people across the world to come to fight abortion in New York. We've been running pregnancy centers since 1984. First one shared a wall with the Planned Parenthood thrift store. That was the closest I could get. My current pregnancy centers in Brooklyn are a 3-second elevator ride away from the Planned Parenthood of Brooklyn. I am across the street, that's since '99. In the South Bronx, I'm across the street from Planned Parenthood since '95. And in Queens, I'm across the street from a smaller and around the corner from another smaller abortion mill. We have to stay up to date. I go to every single pro-life conference I can. Everything is changing so rapidly. AI, technology is changing overnight. I just made a critical decision yesterday. I literally canceled my Google advertising. Why? They are screwing us to the wall. They completely suppressed our results, both with organic search engines and paid advertising. I'm looking to all kinds of alternative methods of reaching abortion-determined women. You cannot rely on the old methods. In the old days, I was placing ads in as many as 12 yellow pages. Some of you are going, yellow page? What the heck is that? Believe it or not, there used to be these books. In New York, they weighed about 15 pounds. These suckers were, they were lethal weapons if you threw one at somebody. Or they were great door openers. Anyway, I want to appeal to you young people to come and work with me in New York for a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, months. We need sidewalk counselors. I'm bringing in 4 Spaniards this summer. I had 400 Spaniards over the last 15 years. After COVID dried up, I lost a lot of momentum. Couldn't get internationals into the country for a year and a half. So I think out of the box, believe me. And you all need to. And you young people, keep on top of technology. Man, it is hitting us so fast. We're going to win this battle by staying ahead of the enemy on technology. This is how we're going to reach the young people. Chats, AI, websites, social media sites, whether it's, the ones that are nasty, like, what's the one, TikTok? Whatever it takes, we got to reach the young people, engage them all. You seniors, I applaud you too for sticking through this through thick and thin. For some of us, it's a challenge, physically, health-wise. But thank you for inviting me down for this trip. It was a real pleasure to come down and meet you.
Thank you. No, don't go anywhere. He's a humble man. Can I tell him about some of your battles? I mean, first of all, he had a landlord that was trying to evict him. I don't know where that is right now in Brooklyn. I mean, like, horrendous. The assault and the persecution this gentleman has gone through. On top of that, he's battling cancer. And he is just a true hero in this movement and somebody that I admire and that so many people look up to. And so I just want to thank you for coming all the way down here for some sunshine. But yeah. But a round of applause for Mr. Slattery. Honestly, thank you for coming down. Yeah. Thank you.
So what does Action for Life do? We do a lot of different things. The TV show is really crucial because we can expose other pro-life entities and individuals to a large audience. And we have as many viewers. It's on the Christian Television Network here in Southwest Florida. It's also on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and search Action for Life Florida, you can see all of the episodes. You can also see Father Orsi's Sunday homilies, which are most amusing and provide a teaching moment. But you'll see, all kinds of sanctity of life issues. Not only do we talk about abortion, we talk about human trafficking. We talk about exorcism, which by the way gets a huge number of views. In fact, the show was so interesting that we had to do 2 parts. We talk about any number of things that involve human beings from conception to natural death, euthanasia. So that's one aspect of our mission. Another aspect is supporting all of you economically. So Scott Beyer can tell you community pregnancy centers need something we can't provide. We don't have the resources to provide an ultrasound machine, but we certainly have resources, and we give them freely to community pregnancy clinics and other pregnancy clinics, Immokalee Pregnancy Center, et cetera, to Sunlight Homes, which some of you visited today, to other organizations that are absolutely important. I'm not going to bore you any further with a long talk. I can do that with a short talk. But I do want to bring up one more important, you like that one, Lauren? One more important point, and that is that at this point in time, more than half of all the abortions are chemically induced. By the end of this year, it's projected that that number will be 75%. You understand that at that point, we lose control of the process, right? Preborn children are being flushed down the toilet, and there's no way to prevent it because these drugs are being issued by questionable providers, some of them offshore, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to say to you, we need to change hearts and minds. We need to convince people that abortion is a sin. It's absolutely wrong. It's also a scourge on our society. Please, not only pray, but work hard at educating, particularly young people, that abortion is socially unacceptable and religiously unacceptable. Thank you.
Hey, gang, you heard all the speakers today. They're just fantastic. I know they've given you a lot of ideas what you can do to make the gospel of life present in your own home, in your parish, in your church, in your school. I know I'm for action. I know all of our speakers this afternoon are for action, and I know you are too.
We would like to thank our generous sponsors for their wonderful support. Thanks for watching. Please join us next time for Action for Life. I'm for action, and I hope you are too. I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the big G, and the little g, all the good things that people are doing to put the gospel of life into action. So please join us for the next episode of Action for Life.